This is a mud crab, one of the most treasured crab species in all of Asia. But before it ever reaches your plate, it goes through an incredible journey. In this series, we explore Vietnam's most unusual farms. Oh, that's a big boy. Places that raise proteins you'll probably never find in your local supermarket. Oh my god, it's so fast! From massive reptiles to creatures you've probably never even imagined being farmed. Today, we're following the complete journey of the Vietnamese mud crab, from microscopic babies to a massive main course. And along the way, we'll discover something surprising. Crabs grow fast with this simple trick. Just look at this one. Wow, it's huge, about the size of my hand. And honestly, it looks a little angry too. But the path that brings these crabs to the table is anything but ordinary. Right here, you can see dozens of boxes, and inside each one lives a single crab. Yeah, one crab per box. These guys clearly don't make great roommates. So how does a tiny, microscopic baby crab turn into this massive seafood legend? Let's start where it all begins. To experience the life cycle of these highly prized mud crabs firsthand, I've traveled deep into the Mekong Delta to a remote farm accessible only by boat. This region is famous for seafood aquaculture. In fact, it's one of the most ideal environments on Earth for raising aquatic life, including the mud crabs I'm about to meet. We are not seeing any crabs, but actually, there are about 10,000 crabs here. At first glance, it may not be obvious, but this is a massive crab farming area, stretching nearly the size of 10 football fields. The crabs? They're hiding quietly beneath the water.
This is the owner of the farm. I asked him, so, some of the crabs escape, right? Because honestly, if I were a crab, I'd probably just leave.
He laughs. About 3 out of 10 escape, especially during the rainy season. 3 out of 10? That's a lot of freedom for a crab. But there's a reason this mud crab farming method works. Mr. Sang has run this farm for more than 10 years. Advanced technology could offer more control, but it would cost much more. Instead, he relies on something simpler: nature itself. This method is called extensive farming, a traditional approach widely used in mud crab farming across the Mekong Delta. You don't control every crab, but the trade-off is lower costs and far less disease risk compared to intensive systems. And it all begins at the earliest stage of a crab's life: the egg. Where do the eggs come from? From the pond you're looking at right now. Female crabs carry eggs beneath a flap under their tails. Farmers carefully collect these clusters and bring them to a hatchery. That's where life begins. Inside these tubs are thousands, maybe millions of newly hatched crab larvae. These tiny creatures are called zoea. Over the next month, they molt again and again, slowly growing until they develop their first claws. Then, they leave the hatchery and return to the ponds, continuing the crab farming cycle. Once released into the pond, it takes about 3 months before they're ready for market. During that time, they feed on natural organisms in the pond, along with bits of fish protein added by the farmer. But raising crabs in an open environment isn't always easy. There are 3 main ways to catch them: fishing lines, nets, and cages. The most common method in mud crab farming is using crab cages. Baited with food, the cage lets crabs crawl in easily, but once inside, escape is nearly impossible. Lift the cage, the crabs are ready for market. And sometimes, you meet the star of the show. Right here is the wild mud crab. Powerful, aggressive, and honestly, a little intimidating. In Vietnam, farmers tie the crabs with straw or twine. This prevents them from fighting or biting the person holding them. Once secured, the crab is placed gently into a container for transport. These mid-sized crabs can sell for up to $6 each at local markets. That means a farm like this can generate around $25,000 a year. But for some of these crabs, this is only the beginning of their journey.
Wow, the crab farm owner really outdid himself with the food. Thank you.
Just look at this table, so many dishes, all prepared by you. For a home-cooked meal, this spread is impressive. Whatever part of the crab you enjoy, the legs, the meat, the roe, it's all here. You might even find a little piece of shell. More calcium, right? I like that. To prepare this countryside crab fried rice, the crabs are first boiled with fresh lemongrass, giving the meat a light, fragrant aroma. Once cooked, the crab meat is carefully removed from the shell. The meat is then shredded and prepared for the wok. The rice is mixed with eggs and tossed into a hot pan with oil, garlic, and scallions. Soy sauce goes in, then fish sauce. The rice is stir-fried until the grains turn dry, fluffy, and golden. Then comes the highlight, a generous heap of shredded crab meat folded into the rice. The dish is finished with pepper and fresh scallions. Wow, the aroma is wonderful. It smells intensely of crab, especially crab roe and sweet crab meat blending with the seasoning. All right, let's try it. In many countries, crab fried rice has so little crab you barely notice it. But here, there are big chunks of crab everywhere. The rice is perfectly fried. Each grain is separate, fluffy. Garlic and scallions add texture and flavor. And the crab meat, you can really taste its tenderness and natural sweetness. Oh, a tiny piece of shell. Hey, more calcium, right? Handmade food. That's how you know it's real. As we keep eating, I start thinking about the business side. You've invested a lot of time and money. Is crab farming actually a good business? He answers simply, high risk, high return. Yeah, that sounds about right. But the meal isn't over yet. There's still one more dish. To make these crab spring rolls, the filling begins with Vietnamese pork paste. Then come chopped carrots, jicama, wood ear mushrooms, glass noodles, and scallions. Next, a generous portion of sweet crab meat goes in, along with eggs. The mixture is seasoned with sugar, MSG, pepper, and seasoning powder before being wrapped in netted rice paper. This rice paper is different from the smooth sheets common in Ho Chi Minh City. It's called Ban Trang Ray. Time to fry! The rolls slip into hot oil until they turn golden and crispy. Just look at that texture. The outside is brown and crunchy, and you can actually see the filling through the netted rice paper. Oh wow, this one looks amazing. You can even spot bright orange crab roe. So, how do we eat it? Here's the trick. Take a lettuce leaf, add herbs like fish mint, perilla, and mint. Place the spring roll inside, wrap it up, and dip it into sweet fish sauce. All right, here we go. That's good. Vietnamese food is all about balance. Something fried and rich, paired with something fresh and crisp. So far, we've seen the entire crab supply chain, from the beginning of the crab's life to the moment it's ready for sale. But there's still one final step. Once the crabs are fully grown, they're sold to restaurants in Condo or Saigon. And that's where this crustacean cargo makes its final stop, before reaching the tables of seafood lovers across the city.
In Ho Chi Minh City, massive mud crabs with powerful claws are proudly displayed, drawing diners from all around. People are willing to pay top dollar just to taste this prized seafood. These crabs often appear at lively family gatherings or big company celebrations. Compared to common Vietnamese seafood like clams or fish, crab is definitely on the premium side. But behind every plate of crab, there's a much bigger story. On this journey, we followed the mud crab supply chain all the way from the farms of the Mekong Delta to the dining table here in Saigon. A single crab can take months, sometimes even years, to grow to this size. Yet once it reaches the table, it might be enjoyed in just a few minutes. Pretty incredible when you think about it. Because every dish carries a story of nature, hardworking farmers, and the long journey before it finally reaches our table. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing food adventures. See you in the next video.
I got to the age when I thought I was a man, and I wonder when we learn the grandmaster plan. But what if the plan is just to live till you die? Well, then I'm leaving my chains all behind. Then you brought me a woman right into my life, and we found out that love is full of heartache and strife. The jagged edges wear down the more that they grow. So now I'm leaving my chains all behind.
I was born in the orphaned by parents of sin, and the preachers and pastors were listening in. I was baptized with water the day it happened. Now I'm leaving my chains all behind. So they called up the neighbors to tell them the news. A young baby child that the world can abuse. I cried and I cried when they called it a ruse. Now I'm leaving my chains all behind. I had realized the night before the day I turned 7 that even if acting nice could get you to heaven, the earth